Hello, welcome to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. We're having a great week so far. So, today I want to talk about something that I've always felt, but I've never really been able to, I guess, describe. And what is that feeling about sports cards lately? And I feel like I'm in the wrong class to be in sports cards, if you know what I mean. And that just goes back to the way I was raised in the 1980s, 90s, whatever, of, getting into junk wax or, just more affordable cards. But if you're a card collector, I'm sure that you feel it as well. And what is it? It feels like the sports card community is another version of a term known as high society. Yes. And if you're just someone like me from a lower middle class family and you've collected cards most of your life, and then you begin to look at, who's out there now, showing cards, pushing cards out, building themselves up into big hobby heroes. Well, we have to take a page from the term high society. And what is high society? High society, sometimes simply society, is the behavior and lifestyle of people with the highest levels of wealth, power, fame, and social status. It includes their related affiliations, social events and practices. Upscale social clubs were open to men based on assessments of their ranking and role within high society. In American high society, the social register was traditionally a key resource for identifying qualified members. Yes. And that's practically what sports cards have become. There is basically a sports card social register of, kind of like Michael Rubin's white parties, Anyway, for a global perspective, see upper class. The quality of housing, clothing, servants, and dining were visible marks of membership. Yes, and that's what it takes to get into the sports card realm these days. You need to have high levels of housing, high levels of clothing. You need to have servants. You need to have, massive dining. You kind of have to be someone like this little picture of Carolyn Astor and her guests. 1902. They should have Michael Rubin up here. And his white party. Anyway, it just feels like I've been outclassed in the sports card realm. And I'm not sure if you feel the same way. But it's like, who am I competing against here? Like I said, I just come from a lower middle class family, typical American. I have not had any roots in high society. I wasn't born to a wealthy family like all the higher ups in the sports card realm, which seems to be the big thing. You have to be born into a big, wealthy family and, get everything you want. To be a hobby hero, you have to have your roots in a family within the realms of high society, within America, Europe, Canada, wherever. And if you're not born into those roots, like an Astor or a Carnegie, well, guess what? You're just another loser like the rest of us. And unfortunately, that's just the truth about sports cards. And you can try and build yourself up. It's not going to happen, kid. Anyway, let's talk about some high society heroes. High society hobby heroes. Ken Golden comes to mind. And you can follow Ken Golden. Heck, you can even try and auction on the Golden website. Good luck with that. I've attempted to. I got shut down. I've attempted, heritage auction. No, sorry. Not welcome here. Why? Well, you have to be part of high society, man. Anyway, Ken Golden, the king of collectibles, man. I mean, this is a hobby hero. Rich guy from rich family. High society. But, the thing about Ken Golden is he's not like, say, Jeff Wilson, where he's like always, rubbing it in your face. But it is what it is. But, these are some of the high society hobby heroes of the realm. And you go, well, where is my place? Well, unfortunately, on X, you likely won't have a place, because you know how X is. You got to be like a millionaire to, have any or attract any interest for the most part. But that's just the way X is. So let's, here I am, Jeff Wilson. Let's see what Jeff Wilson, hobby hero, high society guy, has on his X. Oh, yes. Picked up at my local car show yesterday. It's a LeBron rookie out of 50. Have you seen this before? Yeah. And that's why I'm always surprised of how many people want to, chase the golden goose known as, becoming a big sports card player, So I'm just highlighting some of the biggest high society hobby heroes, that a lot of sports card channels, a lot of sports card fanatics really, worship these people. I mean, they worship these people more than they worship God. Don't pretend that they don't. I mean, this is like the living pharaoh to these guys. If you know anything about the pharaoh, you have to worship the pharaoh like he's a living god. Yes. Michael Rubin's a pharaoh to a lot of sports card fanatics out there. And we even have the name fanatics to go with it, And somewhere along the way, Tom Brady's becoming another pharaoh of sports card, for one reason or another, which I don't know why. I mean, he could just be a millionaire and just have fun. He doesn't have to rub it in our faces, but this is high society, man. This is the realm of sports cards. And if you think you're really going to ever get that one sports card that you've always wanted, that's just it about sports cards. You're never going to get it. You are never going to get that one sports card that you're always wanted. Unless it's like some simple, base card, off your whatever. But you know it about this hobby too. It's meant for members of high society. The Carnegies, not that they're still rich, but, you basically have to come from a rich family if you want to be a hobby hero. Michael Rubin, Jeff Wilson, Ken Golden. Those are really, to me, the three biggest ones to an extent. And we all know why. If you're born into a rich family, you don't have to work for anything. It's all yours to take, And that's just the nature of sports cards. It's not like my local business. Like for me, I'm starting a local business, So I'm out here calling places every day, like get my supplies and whatever. A lot of them are turning me down. Most everyone are turning me down. But I guarantee if I was someone like Jeff Wilson, Michael Rubin, some high society member of society, all these local businesses would be like, yeah, bring your stuff in. We're going to sell it, And that's just the nature of America. So it's kind of a sad issue now, isn't it? I almost feel like sports cards, because they have gone down this road, have kind of moved into a graveyard to an extent. It's kind of like we're burying the past, of the type of people that were always typically involved with sports cards. And we're moving from lower middle class neighborhoods into the Hamptons and Beverly Hills. And if you want to get into sports cards, you can only live in Beverly Hills and the Hamptons. You have to have been born into a rich, high society family. You need to be part of the Michael Rubin's White Party every year, which is only for the very highest members of our high society of the United States. It's just not meant for the average Joe anymore. And until you start to decide to stop buying everything you can from Topps and Panini and to completely boycott them until they start to feel it and go bankrupt and start to sell off their licenses, we're always going to be here. We are always going to be here dealing with these members of high society who won't let us auction stuff on their sites because you have to be, some millionaire to do it, like Golden or Heritage Auction site. You're always going to have, the highest members being the hobby heroes, And why do you get to be a hobby hero in sports cars? It doesn't matter if you work from the ground up like me. I'm always working from the ground up, You have to be born into these wealthy families. And if you're not part of the sports card high society, you may as well just pack your bags and get out. And that's the message that I have received from Topps, Panini, whoever, Fanatics, other hobbyists, fellow hobbyists, whatever. This hobby's not for you. Just go do something else. Got it. And so it's not even the friendliest hobby, Anyway. Can we change it? Well, like I said before, you are going to have to start to remove a lot of the bad actors, a lot of the higher ups. I know that Americans love to worship high society. I don't know, maybe because they can never reach it, I've dealt with millionaires. I've dealt with millionaire families. And coming from a low middle class family, what I found is no matter what you do, you will never be welcome within the gates of their high society. Why is that? Because here's the thing. Even if I was a millionaire, say I won the lottery, they're still not going to let me in. Why is that? You have to be born into it, like a king or a queen or a prince. That's just the way it is with American high society. Why do we have the president that we have now? Ding, ding. Anyway, if you have any different opinions on this issue, leave some comments. Thank you to all my subscribers. You are the reason why I keep coming back, Anyway, if you're a viewer and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It could help my channel out so much. And I could finally get monetized and not be working for Google and YouTube for free. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.